All right, so this lesson is going to focus on Wassily Kandinsky's circles, his concentric circles with squares. So we'll have the pre-cut square paper, and this one's just going to be fun for color, and then you're doing circles. I have two different paintbrush sizes. This smaller paintbrush usually comes with the watercolor sets that we use. Now we do have some of these brushes that are a little bit bigger, maybe for kindergarten or even first grade, to use the bigger ones, just to have a little more control with the paintbrush. And they, they may not want to make their circles as small. But this one's just real easy. You're just going to pick, whatever color they want to start with. And just, now remind them with watercolor, because this would be using the watercolors. They'll each have their water, and to just dip it in the water, not to smash the brush down, okay? Just, just get it wet. Make sure and wipe off a lot of that extra water on the side, and then dip it into the paint. It's gonna make your colors brighter and less watery looking. And then, and again, in the paint palette, just remind them to swish gently, not to smush into the paint, so that it keeps our paintbrushes ready to make nice circles. So I'll start just in the middle, and it's just coming up with, we're just gonna make circles. So, and they don't have to be perfect. If you look at Kandinsky's art, they don't have to be perfect circles. If it's a little more oval shape, that's fine. And then you're just gonna paint your first circle. And then rinse. Make sure they rinse, especially if you're gonna go from, say, purple. And next I wanna go to orange. So rinse that brush out really good. And again, oh, see, I almost forgot, just wipe off that little bit of extra, and then swish it around into your paint. Okay. And then you're just gonna follow the circle that you did before, and just kind of go around. It's okay if the colors kind of bleed like that. Sometimes it kind of makes a neat effect where the colors kind of blend together, so it's okay. You want to try to get as close and not leave very much white between your circles. Now this one, I can go ahead and make it a little bit wider. Okay, if one side's a little bit thicker than the other, that's fine too. Okay, and again, every time just remember to rinse your brush. Wipe off all that extra so you'll have a nice bright color, not a watery color. And just keep going. You want to just keep going until you pretty much fill up most of the paper. Now, at least I would say try to encourage them to have, maybe this is 3, so try to think about 6 different colors. And if they want to keep going, that's for those that are struggling and just say, I don't want to do this, and then they're more than welcome to go all the way to the edge if they want to. Now, especially the older ones, they really should be able to do this just fine. Okay. Like I said, you're just going to keep kind of going, whatever colors. If your color starts to look a little bit, it's not so bright, you need to get a little more water, that's fine. You need to turn your paper. Like I said, they don't need to be perfect circles, but if you just kind of want your smooth lines in between where it's not really jagged between colors. If it starts to look dry like that, then you need to tell them to use a little more water. And to watch their hand. I about stuck my hand in it too. Okay. And another thing, especially with the younger ones, they're probably going to want to just start mixing colors. You know, just tell them to rinse and use one color at a time, not to mix the colors. It keeps the paints nice and fresh for the next person to use, so that that person doesn't have, you know, try to use orange and it turns brown on them. So if you can just tell them to rinse, not to mix colors here on the inside the paint. Now maybe if you have 5th grade, you might be able, but they don't want to mix inside here. If they want to mix, that's what your lid is for. Say they want to make like kind of a, more of a, I don't know, cranberry color or something. Kind of a purple with, you know, a little bit of red mixed in. Again, they need to rinse their brush before they mix colors. So take a little bit of each color, then mix it here on the lid. But this is only if you think you've got a group maybe of 5th graders that feels like it looks like you can kind of see if they have control of what's going on. If not, just stick to your colors. Okay, I'll do one more color just for time's sake here. I don't have much blue here, but I'll try. And then after they're finished going around the circles, they can pick one color to just color in the rest of the piece of paper. The idea with this one is not really, I mean, you could leave like if they wanted to do like one ring of like white, but the idea is just to use more color here. And you can, if you feel like it, you can talk to them about, oh, well, there's blue. What would be a nice color to complement that? You could say, maybe I want to do orange then around the outside. And then I would just paint the rest in orange. So for time's sake of the lesson, so the idea then is to have something that looks a little bit like one of these circles. And then at the very end, if you could use, if the teacher would like to keep the whole class set together and display them kind of like Kadinsky did, and you have then, you know, like almost like a grid of your circles laid out together, would be a really cool, really pretty piece for the hallway or wherever like you'd like to display it. So there we go.